Not every wound leaves a scar you can see. Some wounds live in the mind, some stay in the heart. Some come from words spoken by the people closest to us. Verbal abuse is often ignored because it is just words. But words can destroy confidence, create fear, and leave pain that lasts. Sometimes it sounds like shouting. Sometimes it sounds like constant insults. Sometimes it sounds like jokes that keep cutting too deep, and it truly changes everything we think. In this episode of Storytime with Naya, we talk about verbal abuse, how it affects people silently, and why emotional pain should be taken just as seriously as physical pain. It is because words can bruise too, leaving scars that are just as deep as any physical wound. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Storytime with Naya. Today we are talking about something many people experience but not enough people take it seriously: verbal abuse. And before someone says, it is just words, that mindset is exactly why so many people are hurting quietly, because words matter. Words shape confidence, words shape identity. Words shape how people see themselves. Sometimes the deepest pain does not come from being hit, it comes from being spoken to like you are nothing. Verbal abuse is dangerous because it often hides in normal places: homes, relationships, friendships, classrooms, even churches. Sometimes it is loud, shouting, insults, humiliation, constant criticism. Sometimes it is quieter. You are just so useless. Honestly, you will never amount to anything in this life. Tell me, after all of this, who would even love someone like you?
You are the reason everything goes wrong. You are too sensitive. I was just joking. And the scary part is when people hear these things long enough, they start believing them.
That is how abuse enters the mind. Not all pain screams. Some pain settles quietly and becomes self-doubt. A person starts apologizing for existing. They become afraid of speaking, afraid of trying, and afraid of failing. Because somewhere inside them, someone's voice is still repeating those painful words. And sometimes the worst part is that the abuser is someone they love. A parent, a partner, a friend, a sibling, someone whose words carry weight. Because insults from strangers hurt, but insults from the people you trust cut deeper. Especially in homes. Some people grew up in houses where love was never spoken, only criticism. Nothing was ever enough. Good grades, why not better, success. Can still do more. Mistake, suddenly your entire worth is questioned. And people call that training. But some things are not discipline. Some things are damage. There is a difference between correction and destruction. There is a difference between honesty and cruelty. There is a difference between tough love and emotional violence. Even relationships suffer from this. Some people stay with partners who constantly belittle them. Partners who insult them during arguments. Partners who use words like weapons. No, I didn't mean it. But repeated disrespect is not a mistake. It is a pattern. And patterns matter. Some people are not in love. They are trapped in emotional survival, trying to prove they are worthy of basic kindness. That is exhausting. And let's talk about jokes. Because sometimes abuse wears humor. Someone keeps embarrassing you publicly, keeps making painful comments, keeps disguising cruelty as entertainment. And when you react, they say, can't you take a joke? No. Because jokes should be funny, not damaging. Humiliation is not humor. Embarrassment is not personality. Cruelty is not comedy. We also need to talk about healing. Because people who survive verbal abuse often carry invisible battles: low self-esteem, anxiety, fear of confrontation, fear of intimacy, constant overthinking, and the need for constant validation. Because when words have been used to break you, rebuilding confidence takes time. Sometimes adulthood becomes people trying to unlearn what someone said to them at 15, trying to silence voices that no longer belong in their head, trying to believe they are enough. That journey is real. And if that is you, please hear this. Someone's cruelty is not your identity. Someone's anger is not your worth. Someone's abuse is not your definition. You are not what they called you. You are not the insult. You are not the shouting. You are not the labels they threw at you. And for those who speak carelessly, please remember this. Words do not disappear after they are spoken. Sometimes people remember one sentence for 10 years, one insult, one moment, one humiliation. That is how powerful words are. So choose them carefully, because someone can apologize for words, but sometimes the damage stays longer than the apology. As today's episode comes to an end, I want to leave you with this. Speak with intention, correct with wisdom, love with softness, and never underestimate the power of what comes out of your mouth, because words can heal and words can destroy. Choose wisely. Thank you for listening to this episode of Storytime with Naya. I truly appreciate you joining me today. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.